año más, bienvenidos a Pa' que sepas con Valerie Felix. Today we're going to be talking in English because we have a very special guest, Danielle Pashko. Did I say it right?
You said it correctly, yes. I wish my
She's a
Spanish was better.
Oh, well, now you have to learn. So next time we do an interview, we're doing it in Spanish.
Sí.
She's a functional nutritionist and certified health coach. We're going to be talking about something that most of the time happens in January. January is the month of fresh starts, big goals, gym memberships. And let's be honest, by February, many of those resolutions are already gone. But what is the real issue? Many of those resolutions are because of lack of motivation, lack of discipline. Is it the energy? So that's why today we're talking about how supporting your body's natural energy can help your health goals to last. And joining us is Miss Danielle Pashko. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. So
Good.
before we dive in, Danielle Pashko is a functional nutritionist, like I already said. Also, she's an integrative wellness expert, cancer survivor, author, and creator of Soul Hacker.
Soul
Is
hacker,
that correct?
yes.
For over 20 years, she's been helping people restore vitality through functional nutrition, the detoxification, nervous system regulation, Tai Chi, and a lot of different practices. Welcome. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for having
being
me.
with me today. What I love about your approach is that it's practical. It fits into, the real life. So, why do you think so many New Year's resolutions fail so quickly?
I think so much has to do with unrealistic goals. I think people have all the best intentions and it's not like they lack the motivation, but they just like don't have the energetic capacity. It's really hard. It's like if you want to be a marathoner and you're like, I want to run, the marathon and you haven't trained, yeah, you're going to get to 2 miles and you're just going to peter out. The same thing happens with all these goals. We have the best intentions and then we just don't have the energy to do what we set forth. So that's a lot of times the issue.
Yeah, and like right now, my coworker, he said, "Hey Valerie, I have, this coupon so we can go in this marathon." And I'm like, I have to
Yeah,
be realistic here. First of all,
right.
I've been having knee issues for years and years and years. So first of
Yeah,
all, I cannot run. Can I
right.
walk? So, you have to be real with yourself and start like asking all these questions. Can you really do it? And not be like, oh, Martha, yeah, let's go, let's do it. And then you cannot complete it. Or if you do it, then you're like, oh my God, I feel horrible.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And the other side of that is just because you can't go to your 100% doesn't mean that you can't work at your own level. Like you have to be at the place that you are, and that's okay. And I think we put so much judgment on ourselves. Like if we can't do it perfect, if we're not as good as this person, then like what's even the point? Like I'll just accept my body as it is. Like I'm aging, I'm this, I'm that. And
yes.
you really don't have that, you lose the motivation. So I want to help people to change that.
So is it really about willpower?
I don't think it's willpower. I think really you can't do what you can't do. So I think we need to start slow and learn practices to start to build up our energy so those goals maybe can eventually become a reality. I'm not saying don't have big goals, but you need to really build that vessel to be able to do these type of things. It's just that you have to start working on your training in little increments of building up your energy and that's something that's really important.
What patterns do you see with clients in January? Because that's the main, topic here. It's
Yes.
just January's here. Everybody wants to do stuff. What are the most common patterns that you see on your clients?
So first, I feel like people, they're like, I want to start a new diet. So they get very excited about that. Then they get very excited about doing new fitness things. They really want to upgrade their health. They're very motivated in the beginning. And then I start to see the other patterns of the fatigue set in, the cravings, like, oh, but I'm hungry. This diet is really difficult. Like, I'm craving sugar. This is miserable. I don't want to do this anymore. Just things start to happen in their body that make them not want to stay consistent. And it's really like I have to be a cheerleader in a way to get people to continue, doing what they want to do because
Yeah.
that's their goal. But by the end of January, early February, sometimes they really start to lose track. It's really common.
I think one of the things that people do a lot is that they want to do everything like right there. I
Right.
think you should start like little by little, and most of the time they fail because okay, I'm gonna take all the sugar, the candies, the sodas out of the house, so I don't have them there. And no, you have to start little by little because you cannot tell your body today, hey, let's eat everything, and then tomorrow you just zero. Your body's
Yeah.
gonna be like, what is going on?
Right, right. It's like when you go to one of these wellness retreats for a week and you do these intensives and you go vegan and you're waking up at 6 a.m. every morning and doing yoga and doing all of this. And that's great for your retreat. But you come back and you're like, that lifestyle was a vacation for me. That's
Mhm.
not something you can implement into everyday life. So we want to help people make those changes that actually it's like it's their lifestyle. It's not a short-term resolution, right? So you grow into the person you want to be just by really maintaining the right practices.
It's crazy how everything connects to the energy. Most
Everything.
of the time, most people, including me, we are already exhausted. So can you imagine put that extra stress on your body and not, doing a crazy reset out of nowhere? Low energy already is leading the poor focus, the decision making, and then you put in that extra pressure on your body. That's horrible to do.
Right. Well, thankfully, there are things that you can do to increase your energy so you can have better workouts or you can just have better capacity with thinking, just feeling better. I mean, even like something super simple. So I go outside every morning and it's good to have a dog for that reason because it helps you to go outside and you get
Mhm.
sunlight in your eyes first thing in the morning and that raises your basal metabolic rate. It helps to regulate your circadian rhythms, so meaning that it wakes you up in the morning and then it helps you to sleep better at night. So even just doing that, like get outside. If you work from home, a lot of people they don't even leave their house, right?
Yes.
They're just indoors all day. So just that's like one tip. But I have so many tips that I could explain that really just help people to maintain that because it's people think it's normal to be tired, but it's
It's
not.
not. So
Yeah.
how can someone tell if low energy is sabotaging their goals?
Well, if they're feeling low energy, first of all, they're not going to be thinking clear. And that's really an issue. Not really good clarity, not good decision making. They lose motivation. They end up getting cravings, even with food. They're just not working at full capacity at all. And that really, it's one of the biggest issues that we face as a society of just like being chronically
Procrastination.
tired, procrastination, all of that. Yes. Yes.
A lot of people think it's like, oh, it's just normal life because we're so used to be, tired and be working every day, and everything is like a routine. I wake up, go to work, go back, take care of the kids, take the dog, this and that. And don't
Yeah.
even realize like, hey, it's not supposed to be like this.
Right. We
You
even need to
know,
change our state. Like even listening to music, like that gets you going. It's like listening to a good podcast like you in the morning, but also, like music that for me, it is such therapy to just really sometimes I'll blast like dance music or something that just whatever it is that speaks to you that really gets you going. Like these kind of things really help.
that actually was my next question. Like, what are some of the simple ways to boost your energy right away?
So, like I mentioned, sunlight, getting outside, music for sure, grounding. A lot of people have heard of this, but for who has not heard of this, I've been doing this for years. Connecting with the earth with your bare feet, like grounding, earthing. Those terms can be used interchangeably. and not wearing soles on your shoes. And for if you're in a place like you're in Tampa, so are there beaches in Tampa?
Yes. We
Okay,
have clean
sorry, I don't know
waters and
that.
we
Okay, I
we have
wasn't
to
sure.
visit now.
Okay, I know Florida has a lot of beaches. So going to the like if you're close enough to get to the beach, it's amazing to go barefoot on the beach and walk. You're actually picking up that energy from the earth. And also, I actually live in Miami half the year, so I'm near a beach. So I am at the beach. It's very kind of hot during the day, but either at sunrise or sunset,
Yes.
definitely bare feet. And then when I'm in New York the other half of the year, I go to the park and you find a place that has some trees and I do martial arts practices and Tai Chi and Qigong barefoot by a tree. And I know like sometimes I look a little funny, but there are people
I
who are
guess
tired who are
people
walking around. Yeah, and they
I
actually
guess
look at
people look
me.
at you like, okay.
They do, but then they're like, that looks good for your health. They kind of want to know what I'm up to. And there's been
Yeah.
people have asked me, like, what is that? And these energy practices really help a lot. Even certain practices like Tai Chi and Qigong, um, they are so good for moving energy or what we know as chi throughout the body. And it really helps to wake you up. I do a lot of body tapping, which is a part of Qigong practice. So tapping all these acupoints all throughout the body,
Really?
belly tapping. Yeah, this stuff is really good. Body tapping is like my go-to in the morning besides stretching. And I love practices like yoga and all of that, but tapping really wakes yourself up. So if you can start watching videos on tapping, that like it starts to open up all these meridians which are connected to energy centers in your body, and you just feel so much more alive. So I even
This is
do it
the
on
first time
planes.
I hear about that.
No, I'm telling you, it's so good. Like even sometimes on long flights, I may be tapping my head or tapping my chest, and it actually really helps like me to feel more energized and stop the stagnation, and it changes your mental state. So
But
tapping
how,
is
if
great.
you don't mind, going a little bit deeper about that, because
Yeah.
I want to know. So how that works, like how tapping helps the body, like how is it?
So if you think about acupuncture and the way that it works on all the different energy centers in your body. It opens up the meridians, and the meridians are connected to specific organs, let's say. So if you're tapping your belly, you're moving digestion, you're helping stimulation, helping with constipation, and it helps to ground you. If you're tapping, let's say like over here where by the thumbs, and this is the large intestine, and it helps to move that. If you're tapping your chest, this is opening up a lot of repressed emotion, and also it can help to it can help with lung energy. So like just tapping works on these energy centers
Wow.
and the organs associated with them. Yes.
Something that I really fail, and I guess I should have added that to my resolutions for this year,
Yeah.
is trying to stay hydrated.
Yes.
Why is so hard to drink water? Why?
It that is hydration. It's a very good point. And a lot of people just find it boring, and yeah, it tastes better to grab a soda or something
Mm.
else. But hydration is so important because it cleans the cells, it moves the blood. It's something that we all need to do, and we don't want to retain all this waste in our body. So it clears out the cellular waste. So I know it's hard, but if you have to squeeze lemon in it, like, carry a water bottle with you. I think I mean my house is full of water bottles. I'm always walking with water, especially you being in Florida. It's
Hmm.
hot. You do not want to get dehydrated. So anyone who is especially in these warmer climates definitely needs to be carrying water with them, just as a habit. Just always have a bottle near your desk, walk around with it. It's a
So
really good idea.
you think the best way to stay hydrated is actually have a visual, bottle or something, so you remind yourself constantly, like, hey, I have to drink this water before the end of the day.
Yes, it's definitely good to do that. And also dehydration when it's really warm. I mean, we're in the winter now and, happen to be in Florida, so it's a little warmer, but um also if you're feeling very dehydrated, sometimes a little bit of Celtic sea salt can also help with the hydration. Salt helps with blood volume and it can help you as well. So if you're like, oh, it's super hot, but now that it's winter, you don't need to salt as much. But yeah,
Right.
just
I
that
feel
visual.
dehydrated now. Like I feel I've been sick for almost a month now.
Oh
And
no.
it's because of the constant change of temperatures.
Yes.
And I feel like my skin and everything looks more dehydrated now in the winter that it looks on the summer that I'm,
Yeah,
going to the beach and getting burned, this and that.
definitely, definitely. It does
So
get more
it
dehydrated in the
definitely
winter.
is because from the inside out is telling me, hey girl, you have to drink more water. It doesn't matter if it's hot or cold outside, you're still not taking
Yes.
enough water because my skin is
Yes.
showing.
Absolutely. No, we if we can carry a bottle, I think that's the best visual and just keep filling it up and drinking it throughout the day. Not if you're not thirsty at all, you don't have to overdo it, but
Yeah.
just have it nearby and if you notice like I'm a little thirsty, just start drinking. It's really good to hydrate.
Also, you already mentioned about the tapping, and I didn't know about that, but I've heard a lot about the deep breathing. Yeah, most of the time when people feel anxious or tired, even if we don't realize, we do like. So
Yeah.
how important is the deep breathing in with the energy to boost energy?
Well, deep breathing is so important. And in any practice, whether it's a meditation practice, whether it's a yoga practice, or doing Tai Chi, Qigong, martial arts, breath is everything. You have to move in conjunction with your breath. So being really mindful of the way you breathe, or let's say you're not doing any of these practices, but you just feel very anxious and you're in this fight or flight mode, which many of us are, to just start taking slow, deep, diaphragmatic breaths where we maybe if you're not really sure what that is, you can even hold onto your belly. And as you inhale, just like a baby, when you see them breathe, as you inhale on the rise, you see the stomach,
Hmm.
the belly rise, and then as you exhale, it releases. And that's something that is really good to do, just taking short breaks if you're ever feeling anxious and just getting into your breath. Absolutely.
I feel like that's one thing that I realized that if I feel anxious, I start doing this with my teeth.
Yeah.
And I think you have to realize when your body's telling you something's wrong. Don't ignore it. And it's so easy, like, okay, like you said, take a moment, go outside, even scream if you have to. But
Oh,
most people don't let themselves, look ridiculous outside or how people are gonna think I'm crazy. At the end of the day, do what you gotta do because it's your body,
totally.
it's your life.
There's actually a practice called primal scream therapy. It was popularized in like the 70s. It's not so much now, but it's actually screaming out to get a lot of that suppressed trauma. So yeah, if you can scream and as long as you feel safe that no one thinks you're getting attacked or
Then you
scream
go to
into a
the park and
pillow.
it's stopping
Yeah.
yourself and everything.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, these are small habits, but they definitely, and I think they make a huge difference when they're
Yes.
done constantly.
And I don't want to forget about nutrition because that's a whole other thing that is very important besides the physical habits. We have to nourish our body in the same way. So it all goes together.
So, what are the some specific exercises if we stay, in the body and all that? You already mentioned them, but if you can go a little bit deeper on, the Tai Chi and the Qigong that you already mentioned, how can those practices balance the nervous system?
Yeah, I think I'm glad so many people are speaking about the nervous system these days because we're a very stressed society in a chaotic world.
Yes.
And we are living in this sympathetic fight or flight, and we want to move back to the more parasympathetic, the rest and digest, like we were just talking about. And Tai Chi and Qigong are movements that are slow and deliberate, but they really help to build up a lot of strength. And I think they've gotten a lot of bad PR for young people. It hasn't been marketed towards our demographic, but
Hmm.
really doing slow, deliberate movements combined with breath actually give you so much strength and power that I have found that I've developed so much strength through softness, not through burnout. And these practices have helped me so much to achieve that. And have I've turned on so many people to doing that who were a little
Hmm.
resistant because they said, "Oh no, I'm too young." And I'm like, this is really good for your nervous system. It's really good for your health, and you're going to see it. And if you do that in nature while grounding, while being connected to the earth, you just really start to feel in tune.
So, can you explain us a little bit more? What are those practices about, and how long do you need to practice to see results?
So they're ancient practices, and they they can be. You really should work with someone who there's a specific way to do them, and there are videos, but it's good to have an instructor. And but you once you learn, even just doing even 10 minutes a day is a practice that is sustainable. We talk about how people burn out from doing that. I have to go an hour to the gym, and it
Hmm.
could be very stressful. Whereas doing these practices, you can devote 5 minutes of tapping, you can do 10 minutes of your Tai Chi form. And even that alone is going to make a shift in your flexibility, in your proprioception, in your balance, but just your overall anxiety. So you don't have to dedicate as much time as maybe someone like myself does. It's just it's very individual, but it's a really good place to start, and that is realistic for
Hmm.
almost anyone.
And I think that's very important because one thing we're be talking about is about time. And we
Yes,
always on the run. And sometimes when we talk about exercise, oh, I don't have time for that. I have to be here at 6 and then go back and at 6:30 and go this. It doesn't need too much. It's like if all you have is 5 minutes that day, use those 5 minutes. Don't
definitely.
use the time as an excuse because you think you have to do 1 hour, 2 hours of going to the gym or going to Tai Chi. You know, if you start today I only have 2 minutes. Do those 2 minutes.
Do
You're
those
already
2 minutes.
starting.
Yeah.
And these practices are gonna help with the stress, are gonna help with the emotional balance, are gonna help with everything to make you feel more calm and be more productive.
Right. And then as you're more calm and you're more mindful, you'll probably end up eating better. You'll end up making better decisions. And that's such a piece of this. If you don't have all the time in the world to exercise, but you have time to do some of these practices, then make sure that your diet is really good. Make sure that if you're supplementing, you're taking the right things that are fueling your body. It's all interconnected. There's the physical component, there's a spiritual component of health, and then there's also the things that we ingest and put into our bodies. So all of those need to make sense.
What do you think is the best way to activate the rest and digest system?
So what we were saying, the Tai Chi, Qigong, of course, the deep breathing, absolutely. Grounding is very beneficial for that. And also really tapping into nutrition. And also, I happen to like working with herbs that also work on calming the nervous system. Uh, Adaptogenic herbs. Have you heard of from the Ayurvedic traditions like ashwagandha or
Hmm.
holy basil, rhodiola? These work to help our nervous system to start to relax. This also comes from ancient wisdom, and these herbs are cultivated in the earth and they adapt to what our body needs. But even there's an emerging science right now called quantum Ayurveda, which uses energy that actually what's called tuning. So the energy is working in conjunction with the herb that when you take it, you're not only getting the ashwagandha or the holy basil or the turmeric, you're actually getting the energetic frequency that's working with your body. It's a new technology that is actually has been pioneered that's really, really interesting. And I think that people need to be more connected with. the energetic properties of the foods we eat, the supplements we take, and even the practices we do. Green
Mhm.
Space Herbs is one of the pioneers that's doing this right now. And yes, we have to be very mindful about what we ingest.
And we also have to be very aware of not only when we awake, but also when we sleep.
Yes.
Um, that's something else, that I have to work on, my sleep quality. Do you think we really need those 8 hours of sleep?
It depends who you are. Some people actually do really need those 8 hours, but
Some people take 12 hours of sleep.
yeah, yeah, you really have to know
I
your
can't.
body.
I can't.
Yeah, some people really do. I think sleep is like maybe one of the most important habits of everything, because you could be doing everything right, but if you're not getting that quality sleep, that's where your brain, your lymphatic system, like you're actually releasing a lot of toxins, you're producing growth hormone, and you're just really getting rid of a lot of waste throughout your sleep. And when you feel refreshed is when you feel productive the next day. It's a way you rebuild your cells, your tissues, everything that happens overnight. You really need that good quality sleep. So yeah, we need to make that a priority.
So what I'm doing wrong if I feel more tired when I wake up than when I went to sleep?
You may not have had a good night's sleep. That's very possible. But yeah, it's how much sleep do you get?
Sometimes I try to go to bed at least 10 p.m. and then I wake up at 5. But sometimes like yesterday I couldn't find sleep because I took a nap during the day. So I end up going to bed 11 something to still wake up at 5. So it just depends, but I don't really do the 8 hours, even on weekends. Sometimes it's like, oh, it's weekend, I'm gonna oversleep. No, I can't. Like my body is already waking up at most, maybe weekends at 7 a.m., something like that, no
Right.
matter what time I go to bed.
Right. I think, are you doing any of the habits in the evening? Like, I mean, you're in media, so I know you're probably super connected to your phone or looking at emails and all of
Yes.
that. But all of that blue light is something that we really want to start to avoid in the evenings.
Hmm.
Like I shut everything down by 9 o'clock. I don't text people back, emails, the blue light from the television. If you feel like you just need a movie to fall asleep, try to get those blue light glasses. And
I
also
actually
speak,
on my
oh, good.
prescription, I've been trying to put that blue light
That's
thing.
good. That's really important to do. And also Wi-Fi. We don't think about Wi-Fi, but it's like you're talking about energy, this invisible energetic frequency that's like dirty electricity, the opposite of what we want. And when that's running through your home, that also can disrupt sleep. So sometimes you
Really?
can even, oh yeah, like I will tell people to disconnect their Wi-Fi router when they sleep. I don't know if you can, because I mean, you're still going to get messages if you have your phone, but so turning off your Wi-Fi router, and also if you have a phone, it's really not good to have it by your head because there's also EMF, electromagnetic fields that are coming from your phone that could be affecting your brain. So that as well is not really the greatest thing. So I put my phone on the other side of the room. I put it in airplane mode. I can still get texts on airplane mode, but but it won't ring. So if you have children that aren't at home or a family member that you maybe want to get in touch with you, don't put it on airplane.
Yeah, I have it on Do Not Disturb
Yeah,
till maybe it's 7 a.m., something like that. So
yeah,
only my mom's calls can
right,
go through. But
right.
everything else that goes from 10 p.m. through 7 a.m., it goes, I don't see it because I'm on Do Not Disturb mode.
Yeah, I would have it away from as far away from your head as you can have it, and try to shut everything down. Also, practices like um doing soaking your feet in hot water before bed can be a good thing. Like instead of taking a full bath, bringing the energy down, so soaking it down to your feet. And also, have you ever taken ashwagandha?
No, I haven't.
So ashwagandha is an Ayurvedic herb which helps with the nervous system, And it could be calming if you take that in the evenings as well. Especially it's not ready yet, but the quantum Ayurveda ashwagandha is going to be a very good one because that's really going to help the nervous system. And taking these herbs sometimes can just help to be more relaxed if you're, rather than taking medication in the evening. Not that you
Well,
do, but I was like, but
yeah,
for
yeah,
people who do, a lot of people rely on sleep medications, and it's
yes.
if you can take it herbally or start doing these practices like shutting
Like
off the Wi-Fi.
melatonin, and all
Melatonin
this.
is a sort of
Melatonin.
mixed. Some people do really well with it, and other people get a hangover. So
Yeah, I don't
it
like
has,
that.
yeah, you don't want to wake up feeling hungover. So it really depends.
That's why I don't really like medication because
Yeah.
I don't like being knocked out and then wake up and be like, where am I? What time it is? That I hate that feeling. I
Oh, I
hate it.
know. I know. That's why I take herbs because I the same thing. I also take holy basil, which is very good for the nervous system too. Just because I don't want to be relying on these things because I'm not the best sleeper either, even despite all these practices.
So when your nervous system is calm, everything feels more manageable. And really that thing that you said about the Wi-Fi and all, I didn't know about it. So now I'm gonna start thinking about because I actually have my router right next to my bed. So
Oh, wow.
so
Wow. Yeah.
I'm gonna start thinking about moving that or doing something. So thank you for that tip.
Sure, sure.
You already mentioned it on how important nutrition is to
Yes.
support our energy levels, like how food impacts the energy, the mood. But sometimes, like for example, the coffee.
Yes.
My friend, she cannot go through the day without coffee. And it's crazy because, sometimes it's like, oh, I have a headache and she's moody and all that. And then she realized I haven't drink coffee today. Like, is that good to feel that way that you have to drink
To be
coffee
so
to
addicted to
actually,
it. No, but that's like more than half of America, or probably
it's crazy.
maybe even outside of the United States. I feel like everyone drinks coffee. Yeah, we become so addicted to it, and it's not good because coffee, especially, I mean, you probably have heard that coffee, it raises your cortisol levels, and then you eventually end up crashing in the middle of the day, especially when you drink too much coffee.
Yeah.
And
So
so
you have to
if
keep drinking.
you have to keep drinking to maintain that. And really, I mean, having green tea, I think is definitely better, especially I happen to like matcha because matcha gives you a caffeine hit, but it also
Hmm.
has what's called L-theanine, which L-theanine helps with clarity and calm. So these two ingredients are synergistically working together. You have the caffeine and you have the compounds that are antioxidants, that are bioflavonoids, that are healthy, but then you're not getting that super jittery hit because you have the L-theanine. So I would say maybe try to switch over to matcha instead of coffee, and then slowly start to wean down. And there's also mushroom coffee, which you can do as well, which
I've
can
heard of
less
that one.
caffeine, or just pure mushrooms by itself. Yes.
So it's not just calories, it's how food, communicates with the body. Like you said, like for example, the coffee or the candy. It gives you a high, but then when you crash really bad. Or sometimes
Exactly.
even drinking, like yesterday I was drinking coffee and I felt like so nervous and like a pressure in my chest. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how people love that to feel that way. I couldn't.
I do not like that feeling at all. I mean, I love coffee. It's like a nostalgic ritual. Like it smells so good. I love it. But truthfully, the whole path of the way I live now, I look at everything as energy. So my movement practices, they are about raising my vibration. The same thing with even the foods that I eat. I try to have really good quality foods, whether they're from a farmer's market or whether they're from a health food store, really good fresh fruits and vegetables, fish that's wild, like, if I try not to eat too much meat, trying to have high vibration foods that intuitively I know are going to help me. Even like with supplements, I know people take supplements because they feel like, oh, more is better. Right? Like everyone's into, whether it's nootropics or peptides, and I like all those things, but you can't just throw like the grenade approach of throwing 20 supplements at somebody. And so for me, I prefer things again with energetic principles, with qualities that come from nature. So I'm more of a person who's into herbs. So that's
Hmm.
why I tend to like Ayurveda. And Ayurveda is from an ancient system. So, and then if you can even have Ayurveda that's tuned with energy that can even be more bioavailable, then it's like it's really the combination of everything working synergistically, the movement, the food, the herbs, all of it goes together.
I actually have a friend that that's why you can be like, hey, this is good. It should be good for me, and I should take them all. She has from fibromyalgia.
Fibromyalgia, yes.
And she was like, "Oh, I feel tired and this," and she started taking vitamins and taking everything that she found. And then at the end of the day, she's like, "I noticed that that was not making me any good." So people think like, "Oh, I feel like this. I have to take vitamins. That's what my body needs," and not necessarily.
Well,
Like you.
it also with sensitive nervous systems or people who have a chronic condition like fibromyalgia, we tend to have they tend to have more sensitive bodies. So it's a lot for their liver to end up processing so many supplements or their digestive system to really tolerate that load. So that's why when I use herbs or talk about tuning herbs with energy, like quantum Ayurveda, it's less of the actual supplement and more energetic tuning. And that's where I would like to see the future going because I don't think we're meant to just take so many things. If you sometimes going to a functional doctor
Mhm.
and or a chiropractor and they may have good intentions, but depending on who you are, it's not a one size fits all. And if you get a laundry list of supplements to take, it may be too much for your body to handle. So my feeling is more precision with herbs rather than volume of let's throw everything at you.
So my chai latte is better than the coffee.
Yeah, actually, well, what kind of milk are you using?
So it depends. Sometimes I use oat milk or almond milk,
Okay,
depending.
okay. So
So yeah,
yeah,
but I prefer the chai than the regular coffee.
well, chai probably gives you less of a crash than regular. It's still some people chai will still affect them and make them a little jittery, but if you're tolerating that okay, then I would say maybe better than the coffee.
So can you talk to me about the idea of vibrational energy in foods and herbs?
Yes. So, like I was mentioning, how foods are not only for their nutritional value, it's not about just calories or fat or what it can do, it's also the vibration of how it makes you feel. Sometimes it's good to eat very slowly and when you're eating to see how do I feel? Do I feel light after eating this or is this food making me heavy? Does it feel like it's working with my body? And energetically you'll start to notice this. It's there's a whole thought of a process of mindful eating or intuitive eating, but really slowing down. And even when you're food shopping, like it's so easy to get Instacart or order Whole
Mhm.
Foods and do that. But when you go to the supermarket, you could really connect with your food. And I mean, I will, and anybody can do this, right? So you can pick out an avocado and you're like, this feels good, or a piece of fruit, and like you just have a sense this is going to be good for me. This is what I should be eating rather than
I
a
know most
shopper getting
people
it for
don't do
you.
it because they gonna end up spending more. That's why they're like,
Probably go to Trader Joe's then. Maybe you'll save. But it's the idea of when you're doing that, you really can get a sense of how these foods may affect you. And you want foods that are alive rather than getting, boxed, prepared. I mean, we know processed foods are no good, but the more
Mhm.
alive foods are, the more they are from nature, they're plucked from the earth, the more they're going to be healthy for our body. So that's what we're really looking for. I mean, there's days we can't get around it, especially if you have kids, you're not going to be like making a gourmet home cooked meal every single day. You may use something from a box, but otherwise, if it's for yourself, that's really what you need to do. And the same thing with herbs. Really, uh, things that are cultivated in nature are, in my opinion, they have a lot higher vibration. And I think that is really what we need to look at. And the future of quantum Ayurveda, tuning supplements with vibration, this is a field that you're going to see more of because people are realizing how vibration is really affecting our overall well-being, not only in our food and our supplements, but even think about your relationships with people, how you feel around them, what vibration are they carrying, what vibration do you have from your thoughts. All of this is energy. So it translates in every part of our life. And if we're going to be conscious about our relationships and our thoughts and about mindfulness, then we should also think about the vibration of what we're ingesting.
That's very interesting. Like you're definitely showing me stuff that I didn't even vibration tabs. I'm like, what is going on? Like, so are you thinking about like all these topics are something that are actually like emerging research that is going on that we don't know about, or this is something that is been before our eyes forever and we don't pay
Well,
attention?
well, ancient wisdom, as far as all the mindfulness practices, the meditation, the Tai Chi, the Qigong, energy and herbs, that's been around for centuries. It's just that, we have this modern mentality that we want everything fast and we're starting to realize that it makes sense to go back to nature. Green Space Herbs is the pioneer that is working with quantum Ayurveda, and they're understanding this. They're taking ancient wisdom and they're also using modern science with using a process called spectroscopy AI, capturing the energetic essence of the herb to use it to make it more bioavailable and easier on the system for whoever's ingesting it. And I think that is the direction that we're headed because it used to be something that we didn't speak about energy. It wasn't a widely discussed topic. But now if you're looking at social media and you're seeing like it's something that's really being recognized, and I think it makes sense to look back to ancient wisdom to apply because a lot of the things we're doing now in the modern
Hmm.
world are making us sicker. So maybe we need to go back to basics.
So what can we do right now? Like, while this research continues to evolve, what can people start doing today?
So taking up some of these practices that we talked about, whether it's the grounding, getting in touch with nature, food shopping on your own and really working on the intuitive eating, doing the practicing tai chi, qigong, yoga, more mindful practices,
Mhm.
and also if and really becoming a student of this because to really get the most benefit, it's good to learn. So starting to follow thought leaders who are teaching about vibration, energy. um, Dr. Joe Dispenza is really amazing. He talks about the mind body connection. Also, uh, I talk about some things on my website. Green Space Herbs is talking now about how we can use tuned energy in our herbs. Really learning to study this because then it's not like we're doing something because it's trendy. We're doing it because we really recognize the benefits and we're understanding it. So I would say start to verse yourself in these things.
And I think that's very important. Like when people do stuff, they do it for the moment, but you have to
Yeah,
turn this into a lifestyle.
it
You
really
were
is a
talking
lifestyle.
about, how even how you eat affects, and that happened to me. I used to eat like real quick, and I had to eat everything I saw on my plate. But then when I got my surgery, I needed and I had to learn how to eat slowly
Yes.
and all that. But if it wasn't for the surgery, I would have done it. So
Right.
so in my case, it was because I had to. But learning how to do this because it's what is supposed to, how can I explain myself? So
You're making
you don't
sense
have to
actually.
wait
Yeah.
until you had to do it.
Right.
You have to start doing it because and convert it as a lifestyle because it's what's best for you and your body, and you're gonna start feeling different.
One thing you'll, or at most people will observe in their life is that the body will give you clues. Sometimes we think we're invincible, and it just sort of, we think we could do it all. And first it whispers, it starts to say like, slow down,
Mhm.
and we don't listen. And then it hits us a little bit harder. And then the next thing it's an injury, or it's an illness, or it's something that happens because we can't we can't outsmart our nature, and when we need to slow down and we're not listening, sometimes we have to learn in a way
Mhm.
that we don't want to. So it's good to take on these practices before you're in a position where you're searching and you're forced to take on doing these things, because it's better to be preventative. And I wish I would have learned these practices prior to my own personal health struggles. And but thank God they are things that are bringing me back, have brought me back, have brought my health back. So I'm very grateful to have discovered a lot of these things, and all about the vibration and being in touch with energy at a later point in my life. But it has made such a phenomenal difference. So it's worth experimenting with.
No, definitely. And we have to learn as a society that sometimes simple, realistic changes that actually sticks. Not
Yes.
necessarily is the rush things. It's not necessary, you know, drop 30 pounds in 7 days.
Yeah.
It's not
Right.
always the easiest and fast way. Just start simple. Like I mentioned in the
Yes.
beginning, why don't you start simple and then just keep going?
You got it. You got it. I always say there's a lot of strength and softness, and that's the way to do it. And then you build yourself up, and then you can end up doing more, but as you gain that energy back, and that's where we want to be.
So, what is the most important takeaway from, for making resolutions stick this year? And where can people learn more from you?
Be realistic. Um, Definitely make sure you have goals to do micro practices, but don't start slow and do micro practices and eventually see where you land, but do something that you can stick with consistently, and be realistic, but be optimistic. And
Yes.
that's what I think is most important. And to learn more about energy and health, and all of these things that we discussed, you definitely could visit my website, which is soulhacker.com, soulhakker.com. And also, if you're interested in learning more about herbs and the vibration and quantum Ayurveda, you can visit greenspaceherbs.com.
Definitely. Sometimes we spend a lot of time on TikTok, Instagram,
Hmm.
looking at reels, at funny reels. We need to laugh. In life we need to laugh. But
Yes.
also we need
Yeah.
to take time to, learn
Yeah.
and get this brain for more better purposes than watching funny reels. And that's something that I say in every pa que sepas. Like we have the information right there. It's just for us to grab it. And we
Yes.
prefer to lose time and we prefer to do other things just because it's funny at the time, or I don't want to think about anything else. I just want to rest for the day. But these are also important things that you have to learn and you have to put in practice to your time, to your life, So you're not wasting time, and you're like actually using the time, the little time you have, as you say, in good things.
But I will say, laughing is good. So I'm
Yeah,
not going to take away. So watch some
I
funny
said
videos
that.
once in a while.
I said
Yeah.
the disclaimer. I said the
Don't stop that.
disclaimer.
It's good for your health. Yeah, laugh, but there's a time and a place for everything. So laugh, but also laugh and learn. Do them
Of
both.
course. Because at the end of the day, when your body and mind are aligned, motivation comes naturally. So
Yes.
that's why we really have time for everything. It's just we waste it sometimes, and we don't take the seriousness that the body needs. Like you said, the energy, we just assume I'm tired because I'm supposed to be tired because all I do is work and be here and there. And you don't put, like, we've been talking about so many other things that actually affects energy, and we
Yeah.
haven't been talking about work at all today.
Right. I know. That's probably
So
good.
yeah, so that's a lot of other things that we have to be mindful when we think about our energy and our life at the end of the
Yes.
day. Well,
I'm with you.
Danielle, thank you so much for, reminding us that real change starts with the energy and not pressure. So if you want to feel different, start by taking care of your body and your nervous system. That's very important. That's something that Danielle, taught us today. So thank you so much for, being with me. And
Oh,
once
thank you so
again,
much for
how can
having
they
me.
find you in the social media, the websites, once again?
Soulhacker.com. SOULHAKKER.com is the website. But on Instagram, I do a lot of informational. Might be quick hit if you have short attention span. It's my Instagram handle is at the Soul Hacker, THE, and then it's SOULHAKKER.
Perfect. I will be following you, okay?
Okay, amazing. I'll follow you back.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you so much.